If I haven't painted for a while, I think I'm going to get sick. I feel tired. It's like a itchy, just can't quite scratch. It's like if there's a perfectionist, a visionary. You gotta, it just keeps you going. You gotta keep going for it. It's like a carrot stick I keep reaching out for. I have a certain something in my head, I want to see it. Sometimes it doesn't happen, I get frustrated. There's always a challenge, there's always an inner drive. Sometimes it's exhausting. The art for me, as an artist, it's a passion, but just gotta keep going, doing it. It's who I am. It's almost like an addiction. You know, I have like a side job to support my art addiction. Mm-hmm. One style evolved from going out to the clubs at night, listening to musicians and just feeling so inspired by their music and having a notebook and doing those drawings. Later, like the next day, I would go over the sketchbook and I would find lines that really, it is like the minimal line to express the most. So it's kind of connected to the Chinese stuff where it's minimal brushstroke. So finding the essence. Every style has different techniques. It's good to look for your composition. You want to grab the person's attention that's looking at it. You want it to be fresh and interesting and maybe unique. I think the unifying thing of all the arts is energy. And whether it's musicians, whether it's theater, poetry, dance, creative movement, all of this inspires me. And I get energy from that to do my art form. It's the convergence, the connection of the arts that's so important. And I like to be like right in the middle. The watercolors, just always intrigued by the birds and the seasons and the colors and trying to capture the freshness of nature because it's always changing. There's no moment that stays the same. The light's changing, the earth is moving, the seasons. So nature, we're 80% water, right? Nature's all water. So getting the fluidity is what intrigues me. One time I was fascinated by bamboo brush and rice paper because I thought that really was great. But then the minimal brush stroke was trying to slowly kind of hanging me up because I just was like, it has to be right. You can't just be right. You have to just let the paint flow. So a combination of just that fluidity and trying to get the right image to happen. But then bringing it in and, you know, getting the dot right in the right spot for the bird eyeball. So there's the combination. It's almost like, you know, when you're listening in orchestra, you've got, you know, really loud and really soft, and you've got really low and really high. So you gotta have a little of everything. The watercolors that I do of birds and vegetation and local, just nature and colors. So I do a lot of mixing of colors. I don't use it from the tube too much because that's so much fun to mix the colors. Yeah, the wet in wet, when you're doing watercolors, it just moves all over. But that's what's exciting, because if you know where it's going to go, where's the surprise? I just love the seasons, and I just got to paint when it's spring. I paint the flowers. When it's winter, I paint the winter scenes. It just feels like I have to be in the flow and in touch with nature. I went to the Art Institute of Chicago, and there were visiting artists there, so I was able to see different styles. And interestingly enough, I just got really excited finger painting with my niece. And then I had to go into my studio and I had to make really big finger paintings. And that's when I started getting into the abstracts and moving paint with my hands. That is like, I'll find a photograph that I love, the different colors of in nature, usually like a scenery or something. And then I will pull out the main colors of that and mix them up, and then I will spread these colors across this non-absorbent surface, usually like mylar or something like that. So I'm playing with manipulating it, but then also just waiting to see where it goes. So it's that balance of kind of being in the flow and seeing what happens. Actually, at one point, I painted my whole self and printed myself just because I had to do that. The connection is with nature. I will take a sequence of colors that is in a photograph and then just play with those colors and make it into sort of an abstract, imaginary landscape, and maybe cosmic. I started doing scarves because, again, it's this color addiction. Mixing the colors, I dab the dye onto the silk and kind of scrunch it around. Sometimes I tie it, but it's just more fun with colors. It's just another media to paint on. When I was at the Art Institute, one of my professors, it was like they didn't like some of my work. They said it was too pretty, and pretty was not in. And I was like stuck for a couple of months. I was like, crap, and then I'll paint pretty if I want to. You got to find your voice, but listening to other people, and especially other people you admire, is important. But you can't go against what your inner self is telling you to do.
Funding for this project was provided by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Indiana Arts Commission as part of the Indiana Arts Emergency Relief Fund of the CARES Act. The ArtBeat Goes On video series is to help highlight and support local artists by showcasing their incredible art and heartfelt stories, and by giving you the opportunity to purchase their art and continue to support the local artist movement. To learn more about the Arts Alliance of Greater Bloomington, go to bloomingtonarts.org and see how you can get involved today. To support and purchase the art, click on Our ArtBeat Goes On and then click on Shop Now, and then scroll the page to find the artists you'd like to support.